It all started on a quiet Saturday morning. I had just set up my pressure washer in my driveway, planning to clean my own truck after a week of muddy commutes. The sun was out, birds were chirping, and I had my earbuds in, ready to enjoy a peaceful day off. That peace didn't last long. From across the street came the shrill voice that every homeowner in our neighborhood knew all too well. Karen, the self-appointed queen of the HOA. She strutted over in her bright pink tracksuit, oversized sunglasses perched on her head like a crown. She didn't even say hi. She just stood there, one hand on her hip, staring at me like I had committed some crime. "Perfect," she finally said, her tone dripping with entitlement. "Since you already have that machine out, you can wash my car next." I blinked, thinking she was joking. No, I'm just washing my own truck today." Her jaw dropped. "Excuse me? I'm the head of the HOA, and I'm asking you to do something for the community." I laughed nervously. "With all due respect, Karen, washing your car isn't a community service." She gasped like I'd insulted royalty. "You live in this neighborhood because of people like me. The least you can do is show some gratitude." I turned back to my truck, hoping she'd take the hint and walk away. Instead, I heard her muttering, pacing behind me and taking photos with her phone. Then, in a voice loud enough for half the block to hear, she shouted, "You're refusing a direct request from the HOA! I'll be filing a complaint!" I ignored her and kept working. That's when she snapped. Karen stormed off to her house, only to reappear 5 minutes later, this time on her phone, speaking loudly and dramatically. "Yes, officer, he's being aggressive and refusing to cooperate. He's intimidating me with machinery." I froze, the hose still running in my hand. She wasn't serious, was she? But then I heard sirens in the distance. 2 police cruisers rolled down the street and stopped right in front of my driveway. My stomach dropped as the officers stepped out, glancing between me and Karen, who was waving her arms like she'd just caught a criminal. "This is the guy!" she yelled. "He threatened me and refused to help with a community request." The officers looked confused. I could only shake my head, thinking, this can't be happening. The 2 officers approached cautiously, their hands resting near their belts. One of them, Officer Daniels, gave me a calm nod. "Sir, what's going on here?" Before I could answer, Karen jumped in front of me like she was the star witness in a courtroom drama. "This man," she began, pointing an accusatory finger, "is operating illegal equipment without HOA authorization. I asked him nicely to wash my car as part of our neighborhood maintenance, and he refused. Then he threatened me with that pressure thing." Officer Daniels raised an eyebrow. "You mean his pressure washer?" "Yes," she snapped. "It's dangerous." He aimed it right at me. I felt attacked. I couldn't help it. I laughed. "Officer, I was washing my truck. She walked up and demanded I clean her car for free. When I refused, she called you guys." The second officer, a younger guy named Torres, tried not to smile. "Ma'am, did he actually threaten you or make any aggressive moves?" Karen huffed, clutching her pearl necklace dramatically. He gave me a look. A very threatening look. Officer Daniels sighed. "Ma'am, that's not a crime." Karen's face turned beet red. "What do you mean it's not a crime? He's being uncooperative. That's harassment." "Actually," I said, keeping my tone polite, "refusing to wash someone's car isn't a crime either." The younger officer bit his lip, clearly struggling not to laugh. Daniels finally said, "Ma'am, unless this man damaged your property or physically threatened you, there's nothing we can do." Karen's composure cracked. "So you're just going to let him disrespect me like this? He should be cited for non-compliance with HOA rules." "HOA rules," Daniels replied, "aren't enforceable by the police, ma'am." Her eyes widened like she'd just been betrayed by the law itself. "But I run this neighborhood. You can't just ignore me." The officers exchanged a look. "We're going to clear this call," Daniels said, walking back to his cruiser. "Ma'am, please stop using emergency lines for non-criminal issues." Karen stomped her foot like an angry toddler. "You'll regret this. I'll be filing a report against all of you." They left. I thought it was over. I turned off my pressure washer and started wrapping the hose. That's when I saw Karen still standing there, arms crossed, glaring. "You think you've won?" she said quietly. "You embarrassed me in front of the police. This isn't over." Her tone sent a chill down my spine. Little did I know she was about to escalate things way beyond what anyone expected. For a brief moment, I thought the whole incident would just fade away. A typical Karen meltdown that everyone in the neighborhood would gossip about for a week and then forget. But I underestimated her. Karen wasn't just angry, she was humiliated. And humiliation for someone like her was unforgivable. The next morning, I found an envelope taped to my front door. It had the HOA logo printed on top, and inside was a notice of violation. Apparently, I had broken 5 HOA rules overnight. Unsanctioned car washing, excessive water usage, noise pollution, unapproved equipment, and my personal favorite, disrespect toward an HOA board member. I almost laughed out loud. It was obvious she had written this herself. I called the HOA office, but the receptionist sounded uncomfortable. Mr. Thompson, Karen personally submitted the complaint. She's insisting we fine you. For washing my own car? I asked. She says it was part of a community beautification effort and you refused to participate, the receptionist admitted. That's when I realized this was personal. By afternoon, Karen was outside again, this time with a clipboard and a camera. She was walking up and down the street, taking photos of my lawn, my driveway, even my trash bins. Every time she caught me looking, she smirked. Neighbors started noticing, too. Mr. and Mrs. Hughes from next door came over. She's been asking everyone to sign a petition, Mrs. Hughes said. She's trying to get you removed from the HOA for being uncooperative. I couldn't believe it. Removed? From my own neighborhood? Yep, Mr. Hughes sighed. She says you're setting a bad example for the community. That night, I decided to record everything. I installed a security camera on my porch and another near the driveway. If she tried anything else, I'd have proof. Sure enough, the next day my camera caught her sneaking onto my property. She walked right up to my truck and started spraying water all over it. Not to clean it, but to make it look like I was breaking another water restriction rule. Then she took photos and marched off proudly like she'd solved a crime. That was it. I gathered all the footage, printed her fake violations, and started preparing for the next HOA meeting. Karen thought she could push me around, but I wasn't going down quietly. What I didn't know was that she had one last desperate move left, one that would drag the police right back to my driveway. The HOA meeting was set for Friday evening, and the entire neighborhood showed up. Karen walked in like she owned the place, clipboard in hand, smug grin plastered on her face. She wore her HOA president badge like it was a Medal of Honor. I waited until she sat down before standing up. Before we start, I said calmly, I'd like to address the false violations filed against me. Karen's grin twitched. Those aren't false, she said loudly. You violated multiple community rules and endangered public peace with your machinery. I took a deep breath, connected my phone to the projector, and played the footage from my security camera. There she was in full HD, trespassing on my property, turning on my garden hose, and pretending to spray my truck. Gasps rippled through the room. Karen's face drained of color. Would you like to explain this? I asked. She stammered. That's not what it looks like. Oh, it's exactly what it looks like, said Mr. Hughes from the back. You've been harassing him for days, Karen. The HOA chair, not Karen, but an older gentleman named Ron, adjusted his glasses. Karen, this is very serious. Tampering with a homeowner's property is a violation of our own rules. Karen slammed her palm on the table. You're all blind! He's manipulating the footage! He's a troublemaker! Ron frowned. The footage is time-stamped and you're clearly visible. This isn't acceptable behavior from an HOA representative. Karen's voice rose into a shriek. You can't do this to me! I run this neighborhood! That's when I heard the sound of police sirens again. The same officers from before. Everyone turned toward the window as two. Cruisers pulled up outside the community center. Karen's eyes went wide. Oh no! Officer Daniels walked in. We received a report of trespassing and property damage. We reviewed the footage submitted this afternoon. He turned to Karen. Ma'am, we need to speak with you outside. The room went dead silent as Karen sputtered. You can't arrest me! I'm the HOA president. Torres, the younger officer, couldn't hide his smirk. Ma'am, HOA president or not, the law still applies. As they escorted her out, the entire neighborhood sat in stunned silence. Then, one by one, people started clapping. Ron looked at me and said, Mr. Thompson, on behalf of the HOA, I apologize. Karen will be removed from her position immediately. I nodded, finally exhaling the stress I'd been holding in for days. When I got home that night, I washed my truck again, peacefully this time, and couldn't help but smile as the water glistened under the setting sun. For the first time in weeks, the street was quiet. And just like that, Karen's reign was finally over.